direct democracy ancient Athens. Ancient Athens pioneered what many consider the purest form of democracy ever attempted. During its golden age 5th–4th century BCE, this city-state developed a revolutionary system that placed power directly in citizens' hands, creating a model that continues to inspire democratic ideals today. At the heart of Athenian democracy was the Ecclesia Assembly, where male citizens gathered on the Pnyx Hill to debate and vote on everything from war declarations to public works projects. This wasn't merely theoretical. Citizens weren't just choosing representatives, they were the government itself, making decisions that affected their daily lives and the city's future. The sophistication of this system included mechanisms to prevent corruption and abuse of power, such as ostracism, where citizens could vote to exile powerful individuals, and rotation of offices. They also implemented selection by lot for many positions, believing that randomization was more democratic than election. However, this system had significant limitations. Citizenship was restricted to adult males born to Athenian parents, excluding women, slaves, and foreigners, approximately 90% of the population. Despite these limitations, the system introduced revolutionary concepts like isonomia, equality before the law, and paresia, freedom of speech, which remain fundamental to modern democratic thought. Constitutional monarchy, United Kingdom. The British constitutional monarchy represents one of history's most fascinating political evolutions, where absolute royal power gradually transformed into a symbolic role while maintaining traditional authority. This system brilliantly balances historical continuity with modern democratic governance. The monarch serves as head of state, embodying national unity and tradition, while actual political power resides with the democratically elected parliament and prime minister. This separation creates a unique stability. The monarchy provides ceremonial leadership and constitutional continuity, while elected officials handle day-to-day governance. What makes this system particularly interesting is its unwritten constitution. Rather than a single document, it relies on a complex web of laws, conventions, and traditions that have evolved over centuries. This flexibility has allowed the system to adapt to changing times while maintaining its essential character. The role of the monarch is subtle but significant. While politically neutral, they serve as a constitutional backstop and symbolic head of state. The monarch's weekly audiences with the prime minister, right to be consulted and to warn, and ceremonial functions all contribute to governmental stability and continuity.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
Federal Republic, United States. The United States Federal Republic represents a groundbreaking experiment in governance, combining democratic principles with a federal structure that balances state autonomy and national unity. This system, established by the 1787 Constitution, created a new template for modern democratic federalism. The system's genius lies in its division of power vertically between federal and state governments, and horizontally among executive, legislative, and judicial branches. This creates multiple layers of checks and balances, preventing any single entity from becoming too powerful while ensuring efficient governance through shared responsibility. The federal structure operates like a complex machine, with states retaining significant autonomy while participating in a larger national framework. Each state maintains its own government, laws and courts, while the federal government handles matters of national importance like defense, foreign policy, and interstate commerce. What makes this system particularly remarkable is its adaptability. Through constitutional amendments and judicial interpretation, it has evolved to address challenges unforeseen by its founders, from the Industrial Revolution to the digital age. The communist state Soviet Union. The Soviet Union represented one of history's most ambitious attempts to implement communist ideology as a system of government. From 1922 to 1991, this experiment in state socialism attempted to create a new social and economic order based on collective ownership and central planning. At its core was the concept of the dictatorship of the proletariat, where a single party claimed to represent working-class interests. The Communist Party controlled all aspects of society through a hierarchical structure, from local Soviets councils to the Supreme Soviet and Politburo. The system featured a planned economy where the state owned most means of production and determined what would be produced, in what quantities, and at what prices. This centralized control extended to education, media, arts and science, aiming to create a new type of society and citizen. Despite achieving rapid industrialization and some social advances, the system faced inherent contradictions. The lack of market mechanisms led to inefficiencies, while political repression contradicted ideals of worker empowerment. The tension between centralized control and individual liberty ultimately contributed to the system's collapse. Parliamentary democracy. India's parliamentary democracy represents one of the world's most remarkable democratic experiments, adapting the Westminster system to govern an incredibly diverse population of over 1 billion people. This system emerged after independence in 1947, combining British parliamentary traditions with uniquely Indian elements. The system centers on a bicameral parliament, with the Lok Sabha House of the People directly elected by citizens and the Rajya Sabha Council of States representing state interests. The Prime Minister, leading the party or coalition with majority support, heads the government while a president serves as ceremonial head of state. What makes India's system particularly fascinating is how it manages tremendous diversity through federal structures and constitutional protections for minority rights. The system accommodates 28 states, numerous languages, and various religious and ethnic groups while maintaining democratic unity. Despite challenges like regional disparities and corruption, India's parliamentary democracy has shown remarkable resilience, successfully conducting the world's largest elections and maintaining democratic traditions since independence. Islamic Republic Iran. Iran's Islamic Republic represents a unique attempt to combine religious governance with modern state structures. Established after the 1979 revolution, this system integrates Islamic law with republican elements, creating a complex hybrid of theocratic and democratic institutions. The system operates under the concept of Vilayat-e-Faqih guardianship of the Islamic jurist, where a supreme leader serves as both spiritual guide and ultimate political authority. Below this, A president and parliament are elected by popular vote, but their actions must conform to Islamic principles as interpreted by various religious oversight bodies. This creates a dual power structure. Elected officials manage day-to-day governance, while religious authorities ensure consistency with Islamic law. The Guardian Council, comprising religious scholars and jurists, vets legislation and candidates for public office, ensuring their alignment with Islamic principles. What makes this system particularly interesting is its attempt to reconcile modern political participation with traditional religious authority. While citizens vote for representatives and the president, ultimate sovereignty is considered to derive from God rather than the people, creating a unique interpretation of republican governance. Absolute monarchy. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia represents one of the few remaining absolute monarchies in the modern world, where the Al Saud family exercises comprehensive control over state affairs. This system combines traditional tribal leadership with modern state structures, creating a unique governance model in today's global landscape. The king serves as both head of state and head of government, wielding extensive executive, legislative, and judicial powers. All major decisions flow from royal authority, though in practice, governance involves complex negotiations within the royal family and with religious authorities ulema. The system operates through a network of royal decrees and ministerial decisions, with the Basic Law of 1992 serving as a quasi-constitution. While recent years have seen some reforms, particularly in economic and social spheres, the fundamental nature of absolute royal authority remains unchanged. What makes this system distinctive is its successful integration of traditional authority with modern state functions, maintaining stability while managing one of the world's largest oil economies. Semi-presidential France. France's semi-presidential system, established under the Fifth Republic in 1958, represents an innovative attempt to combine the stability of presidential leadership with parliamentary democracy's responsiveness. This hybrid system emerged from France's historical experience with both parliamentary instability and authoritarian rule. The system features a powerful president elected by popular vote, who shares executive power with a prime minister chosen from the parliamentary majority. This creates a unique dual executive, where power distribution shifts based on political circumstances, particularly during periods of cohabitation when the president and prime minister come from opposing parties. The president handles foreign policy, defense, and national vision, while the prime minister manages domestic policy and day-to-day administration. This division creates a flexible system that can adapt to different political situations while maintaining governmental stability. What makes this system particularly interesting is its ability to combine strong leadership with democratic accountability, though it requires sophisticated political cooperation during periods of divided government. Confederate system. Historical Confederate states. The Confederate system, while historically controversial due to its association with the American Civil War, represents a distinct approach to government structure focused on extreme state sovereignty. This system prioritized state rights over central authority, creating a deliberately weak federal government. Under this model, states retained primary sovereignty, while voluntarily joining a loose alliance for specific purposes like defense and trade. The central government had limited powers, requiring state approval for most significant actions. Each state maintained independent policies, armies, and even the theoretical right to leave the Confederation. What makes this system unique is its radical decentralization. Unlike federalism, which balances state and national power, confederalism tilts decisively towards state autonomy. This structure reflects deep philosophical beliefs about local self-governance and voluntary association. The system's ultimate failure highlights the challenges of maintaining national unity with extremely limited central authority, though its ideas about state rights continue to influence political debates. Socialist Republic China. China's Socialist Republic represents a unique blend of Communist Party rule, market economics, and traditional Chinese governance concepts. This system, evolved since 1949, combines authoritarian political control with pragmatic economic policies. The Communist Party maintains comprehensive political control through a hierarchical structure extending from Beijing to local levels. While the state has separate government institutions, the party's leadership role is paramount, with key decisions flowing through party channels rather than state bureaucracy. What makes this system particularly fascinating is its successful adaptation of socialist principles to accommodate market reforms. The concept of socialism with Chinese characteristics allows for private enterprise and market mechanisms while maintaining state control over strategic sectors and political life. The system features distinctive elements like collective leadership, emphasis on long-term planning, and integration of party control with market dynamics. Despite predictions of its demise, this hybrid system has shown remarkable resilience and adaptability. Military junta various. Military juntas represent a form of authoritarian rule where military officers seize and maintain political control. While seen in various countries throughout history, these systems share common characteristics in their approach to governance and power maintenance. The military assumes direct control of government functions, often suspending civilian institutions or maintaining them as facades. Leadership typically operates through a council of senior officers, with decisions flowing through military chain of command rather than civilian bureaucracy. What distinguishes this system is its reliance on martial discipline and hierarchy. The military's organizational structure becomes the template for national governance, with emphasis on order, discipline, and national security, often at the expense of civil liberties. These systems frequently justify their rule as temporary measures to address national crises, though they often persist long beyond their stated temporary nature, highlighting the challenges of transitioning back to civilian rule. Oligarchy Historical Venice. The Republic of Venice's oligarchic system represents one of history's most sophisticated and long-lasting examples of rule by a merchant elite. For nearly a millennium, this system combined commercial prowess with political stability through carefully designed institutions. The system centered on the Great Council, composed of noble families whose names were recorded in the Golden Book. Leadership was distributed among various councils and offices, with the Doge serving as ceremonial head but bound by extensive restrictions. This created a complex web of checks and balances within the ruling class. What makes this system remarkable is its longevity and efficiency. Venice developed sophisticated mechanisms for preventing any individual or family from gaining too much power while maintaining the collective interests of the merchant aristocracy. The system's focus on trade and practical governance, rather than territorial expansion, created a unique political culture emphasizing stability and commercial success over military glory. Direct democracy Switzerland. Switzerland's modern direct democracy represents the most sophisticated implementation of citizen participation in contemporary governance. This unique system combines representative democracy with extensive direct citizen involvement through referendums and initiatives. Swiss citizens regularly vote on specific policies, constitutional changes, and major decisions at federal, cantonal, and communal levels. Any constitutional change must face a mandatory referendum, while citizens can challenge new laws or propose initiatives with enough signatures. This creates a dynamic where politicians must constantly consider public opinion and citizen preferences. What makes this system particularly remarkable is its integration of direct democracy with federalism. The system respects both popular sovereignty and cantonal autonomy, requiring double majorities both popular and cantonal for constitutional changes. This high level of citizen participation creates a politically engaged population and tends to produce moderate, well-considered policies through public debate and consensus building. Westminster System Canada. Canada's Westminster system represents a successful adaptation of British parliamentary democracy to a federal-state context. This system combines traditional parliamentary elements with unique features addressing Canada's diverse population and vast territory. The system centres on parliamentary supremacy, with the Prime Minister and Cabinet drawn from and accountable to the elected House of Commons. The Crown, represented by the Governor-General, serves as ceremonial head of state, while actual power resides with elected officials. What distinguishes Canada's system is its federal structure, accommodating both English and French traditions and Indigenous rights. The division of powers between federal and provincial governments allows for regional autonomy while maintaining national unity. The system's flexibility has allowed it to evolve to address changing social needs, from bilingualism to multiculturalism, while maintaining stable democratic governance through established parliamentary procedures.